and welcome to Newsroom series. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you for joining us. Today, we'll be focusing on the southwest region of Nigeria. And we begin in Oyo State, who have sealed up a steel production mill, the Phoenix Steel Mills Industries Limited in Shagamu local government, with immediate effect following a gas explosion in its factory. State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ola Oresanya, announced the immediate closure of the steel mill after an on-the-spot assessment of the explosion area, which affected almost the entire production line of the company. About 9 workers of the industry were injured in the explosion and have been hospitalized in a private hospital in Ikorodu in Lagos State. The sealing up of the facility will enable the state government conduct a thorough investigation on the cause of the explosion.
We heard of casualties. The initial rumor was that we had a fatality, but thank God on inspection and going around, we found out that yes, they were near fatality, but they're casualties. The first thing we have to do on the rule of engagement is that when you have incident like this, you seal up the company, and the company starts sealed up so that we can protect the life and properties of the worker, the life of the workers, the properties here, and the properties of the community. So we will seal them up immediately. So it's either you confirm before we seal or unseal you, or if they cannot operate within our standard, they get shut down perpetually.
And that was Mr. Ola Oresanya, the Commissioner for Environment in Oyo State, who incidentally we have the pleasure of joining us on the program today. Good day and welcome to Newsroom series.
Thank you, Olumide.
Thank you so much for being with us. You visited the site, as we saw, and we understand that investigations have begun. What can you tell us about that incident so far?
Well, I think very early on Sunday morning, we got a call about the explosion that happened at the company. That's a Phoenix Steel Industries. And the rumor was that we had casualties. And so we went there and, with my team on Sunday morning, quickly, to establish the extent of the problem. And what we saw at that place, at the factory, was that one of the cylinders, the argon compressing decarbonizers, which is a compressing cylinder, probably has expired. It's a giant cylinder, very, very big one. Probably has expired, stayed there for so long. And I think that cylinder exploded. And it affected close to almost, the explosion vibrated to more than 10-kilometer radius around that area. And the houses were affected, workers were affected, and immediately what we had to do was to shut the organization, because they have a history of accident like that. About 10 years ago, we had a fatality there, about 10 years ago when similar incident happened. So right now what we have to do is to, I got all their files immediately, and I found out that our team were there just about 2 weeks ago, and they gave them the instruction on what to do for safety matters. So apparently they are not compliant with safety rules and regulation, and I think this led to the industrial accident that we see. And this is not just this is just one of many other industries that are running foul of these health and safety standards, but we're not relenting to make sure that they comply.
So going by what you're saying, sir, it seems this is negligence seems to be the culprit on the part of the operators of the mill?
Yes, absolutely. There's a professional negligence that led to this. They were one, and I think we have a record in the file that even we've won them, and they deliberately neglected some things.
Since you're shutting down the steel mill, what are the implications for the livelihood of the workers at the steel mill? Are there any further implications for the people living in that area?
Well, we found out that they are cohabiting as a residential area, even within the factory, and they have a lot of so many foreigners are living there. Asians who work in the factory, they're living there. So we have to separate areas where people live. And we seal up the main production lines. That's what we've done. And I will let areas where the people live. And I think what is more important is the safety of human lives. It's not about inconvenience that you give to the staff. If it's only when you are alive that you can think about convenience. So, and I think we have that duty. We have an obligation to not just the factory, but to the community. Many houses were damaged in the community as of yesterday from the vibration. Yeah. So we have a duty towards the community.
Finally, Mr. Oresanya, going forward, what operational guidelines will be put in place to prevent a recurrence?
Well, early in the year, one of our critical outlook to environmental governance is in the area of institutionalizing health and safety by having an agency. So we're deliberate about the operation of this agency. But we now have a robust desk that ensures that there's a strict compliance with health and safety standards in Oyo State. Oyo State is already home to a lot of industries in Nigeria. We're the most industrialized, no doubt about it, for now. And that comes with challenges. And that challenge comes with regulatory standards. So in Oyo State, yes, we are going even slightly higher than the national regulatory standard to make sure that safety is not compromised. Because whatever happens, it's not just going to be for these industries and their workers. We have the communities that are hosting these industries. They are exposed to a lot of risk if there's any form of mismanagement. Talking about air emission, talking about noise pollution, talking about the land pollution, talking about effluent discharge. It's a compendium of potential risk that is attached to industrialization. And I think we are already facing that in Oyo State. But we have to be proactive about this. We have to go ahead of these industries, lay our standard, and ensure from the day one that you put down your first block to construct anything in Oyo State, you conform with the environmental standard and guidelines. And we are working this in conjunction with our other agencies, other ministry, other bodies, talking about physical planning. There are certain preconditions under which you must conform with before you even get your planning and building permit before you go ahead. So it's all we're all out to make sure that we don't have a repeat of this kind of thing.
Indeed, and we do hope, we do wish you the best in your endeavors. And as you said, the repeat should not happen as you continue to follow the policies of your governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun. Thank you so much for making out the time to be with us, Mr. Ola Oresanya, who is the Commissioner for Environment in Ogun State.
Thank you very much.
Now to Oyo State, where the governor, Mr. Seyi Makinde, says his administration will continue to give its best to the people of the state in spite of challenging times. The governor said this during the presentation of a 28 18-seater bus, more than one, that is 28 buses, to tertiary institutions in the state at the car park of the governor's office, State Secretariat in Ibadan. While addressing the students, Governor Makinde notes that the country is passing through a tough period, but assured that it'll soon be over, adding that his administration will not relent in giving the rest, that is the best, to the state and the people. The governor also stated that he was sensitive to the hardship foisted on students as a result of the tough times and encouraged them to endure the hardship as it will soon become a thing of the past. He also noted that he had just signed the State Scholarship and Bursary Award for 2024, stressing that he will ensure that the disbursement is done seamlessly and with integrity.
I want to charge you to cooperate with the leadership in your various institutions. I am restoring my own personal scholarship scheme. I stopped it after I became the governor, but now I saw the need, because government alone cannot do everything, cannot give enough. So Seyi Makinde scholarship scheme should be in the newspaper within the next 4 weeks, and I should bust within another 8 weeks.
Members of the Southwest chapter of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners have urged President Bola Tinubu against the proposed scrapping of the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate. This was part of the resolutions reached at the end of their zonal meeting held at the state office of the union in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The pensioners also say that scrapping the PTAD will return them to what they describe as better forgotten dark days, where payment of their pensions and gratuities will be at the whims and caprices of civil servants. And as a way out of the current food scarcity crisis, the pensioners suggest to the federal government to create food production zones in each geopolitical zone and embark on massive importation of agricultural machines.
Under PTAD, there is no report or news of pension funds being stolen or misappropriated by its officials. Pensioners whose pensions are underpaid have had their pensions adjusted upwards, while those whose pensions were unjustifiably upped also had their pensions adjusted to their respective statuses. And here's the crux of the matter. And here is the problem PTAD is having. The Southwest decries scrapping of PTAD and taking pensioners back to Egypt, where our pensions and gratuities will be at the whims and caprices of licentious civil servants. We do not want to go back to the era where our members will be dying on queues or traveling from all over the Federation to Abuja before our entitlements are paid.
The Lagos State government have announced its plans to restore the glory of Lagos Island and unlock its economic prosperity by remodeling the area. That's according to the State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Oluyinka Olumide, who made this comment at the Lagos Island Model City Plan Stakeholders Meeting held at the Musa Center in Lagos. He says the initiative is to help achieve a sustainable future for Lagos Island that will be suitable for all citizens.
This is the first stakeholders meeting to discuss the Lagos Island Model City Plan initiated by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration. The State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development convened this meeting of concerned groups residing on the island and other partners in charge of the Urban City project to deliberate on the remodeling plan. Oluyinka Olumide is the commissioner in charge of the regeneration plan and takes the lead, highlighting the benefits of the Model City Plan.
It is important to state that the Lagos Island Model City Plan conceived basically to correct the negative impacts of the partial implementation of the expired Lagos Metropolitan Master Plan 1980 to 2000 on Lagos Island, such as slum development, rundown infrastructure, illegal conversion of approved buildings to other uses, overcrowding in our various communities and units, flooding experienced in Isaleko, and building collapse, among others.
While government insists on cleaning up the area, others appeal to the leaders in the area to enlighten the youth on a project for Lagos Island.
To make my brothers, my mother, my sisters, and everybody in Lagos proud, we have decided to start cleaning Lagos Island to make sure that Lagos Island is better than what it is now, and that my brother, my uncle can be happy. They can drive around Lagos Island as they used to do in the 60s, in the 70s.
We should enlighten our children on the way they will manage the new model city plan. They should not engage the people that brought this from outside Nigeria. They should not go and be threatening them that without giving us money, you will not do it.
The flood protection. I believe
the company in charge of the project presents the final draft of the Lagos Island Model City Plan, expected to be completed in 2040.
The social foundation we have is to guarantee a minimum livability and well-being standard for all people, like access to health, services, food, energy, housing, affordable housing, education, proper education, and so on and so forth.
Other participants say more consultations must be held to ensure that the people are not sent out of the historical heritage.
We lack development. We don't want to be thrown out of our community. We have seen it in so many areas. When you say you are doing development, by the time you finish the development, the people of the area will not be able to even pay for it.
It's a wonderful development, but a whole lot more questions need to be answered, and there should be a whole lot more collaboration with the stakeholders, and several meetings should still be held.
The indigents of Lagos Island welcomed the Model City Development Plan, which will last for a period of 16 years, but all they ask is to be carried along in the regeneration agenda.
Welcome back. Boats operating along the Lagos State waterways will soon be powered by compressed natural gas. The Lagos State government is working with the private sector to help provide hybrid dual fuel systems for marine propulsion engines as a fueling option to power the boats. The general manager of the Lagos State Waterways Authority, Mr. Oluwadamilola Emmanuel, made this known during a stakeholders meeting with boat operators to educate them on the benefits of CNG as an optional fuel to power the boats without changing the engine internals.
Good morning.
Lagos residents living on the island and Ikorodu have taken advantage of this alternative means of transportation, which is touted as one of the fastest means of commuting, especially in riverine communities.
Yeah, it's more convenient, faster, and cheaper.
It's fast. I'm coming from Ikorodu to Falomo. That's why I use water to come.
With about 2 million residents already plying the waterways, the state government is making plans to increase the number of boats to decrease waiting times at the state-operated terminals.
We're commissioning additional 12 ferries that will be handing over, I don't know if this is blue with that ferry that will hand it over, or with private operators that will hand it over. The ferries have been completed, they are doing water testing right now, and each one of them are carrying between 35 to 40 passengers on our waterways.
That's not all. The state government is also considering the use of compressed natural gas to operate passenger boats and ferries to reduce the dependence on petrol of diesel-operated boats. This initiative, according to the authorities in charge, will also reduce water pollution and make water transportation business more profitable.
As you know, for the longest time, it's always been about petrol-based boats, petrol-driven boats. But with this now as well, the gas and also discussions around electric, you know, as Lagos always likes to be in the forefront of innovation. That is why we are also getting involved with this conversation and to be able to ensure that we also have CNG and electric ferries running on Lagos waterways.
It's being done in partnership with the Blue Gas Marina, a US-based company involved in hybrid fuel systems for marine propulsion engines.
The cost of operation for the operators and the ferry operators or boat operators will go down tremendously. Their bottom line will improve. Commuters will utilize the waterways more because once the price comes down, they will utilize the waterways. Then there will be less pollution. There will be less pollution, and it will be in line with government's effort at carbon pollution reduction.
The state government believes adoption of CNG as alternative energy source in all areas of the transport sector will help cut costs, reduce pollution, and also help Lagos State achieve zero emission by 2050.
To politics now. In Ondo State, ahead of the governorship election later this year, some youth under the All Progressives Congress in Ikare Akoko are rallying support for Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. They say he has done a lot to transform the area, even in the short time of being in office, transforming and returning hope to the state. The support comes as the Lucky Aiyedatiwa campaign organization inaugurates a team to oversee the door-to-door campaign at the grassroots.
The Ondo State governorship election may be coming up later in the year. A group of APC youths from Ikare Akoko, backing Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, believe there's no time to waste in drumming up support for his election. Governor Aiyedatiwa has also been in office for a few months. The people believe his contribution to Ikare Akoko in the past few months has been amazing.
Considering the fact that of just these few times, these few women that he's contributed to the development of this state, we deem it fit that if he's given the larger capacity in the coming election, he's going to do us more proud.
The Ondo State Special Assistant on Youth says the development and transformation programs the governor has brought to communities in such a short while shows the governor has what it takes to continue over the next 4 years.
They are after the development of the locality and the people, and they intend to support any candidates that have the interests of the local government and the people at charge. And by so doing, they are supporting Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa because they believe indeed we are lucky in Ondo State.
Elsewhere, loyalists from across the 12 political wards in Ondo West local government area of Ondo State have inaugurated the Ondo West chapter of the Lucky Aiyedatiwa campaign organization, Foot Soldiers. The Foot Soldiers are to embark on house-to-house campaign at the grassroots across all communities in Ondo West local government area, canvassing for votes for the governor.
The last 2 months have done well. Contractors who have abandoned site have gone to site, pensioners have been paid, a lot of tremendous changes have happened. And we look at it and look, this man is concerned about our welfare. This man has taken up the leadership of our party. PDP and other parties have been decapitate our party in the last 2 months. And we said, let him continue in the next 4 years.
As activities towards the governorship election in Ondo State gather momentum, the associates and supporters of the incumbent governor are confident that he will remain in power come November 2024.
To infrastructure, Oyo State Governor Mr. Ademola Adeleke has flagged off the rehabilitation of the 5.6-kilometer intercity road project. The project, which is expected to be completed within 8 months, will cost over 1 billion naira. It will open up various agrarian communities to ease transportation of farm produce to the state capital and other major towns.
Top government functionaries, leaders, as well as residents of area Oshu community gather to witness the ceremonial flag-off of the 5.6-kilometer Oshu intercity road, which is being rehabilitated. The state governor, Ademola Adeleke, is represented by the Commissioner for Special Duties, Dr. Bashir Salami, who gives details of the project, including the cost of the contract.
This administration is committed to the infrastructure development of the state, having been convinced that economic development of any community relies solely on good roads to access the goods and services that are inherent in these communities across the state. We will keep up the good work in engaging local content in the discharge of our duties.
The project will be executed by direct labor by local contractors in the state and will be completed in 8 months.
The government of Osun, under the leadership of our governor, is currently embarking on huge construction. First and foremost, we are embarking on construction of 5 flyovers. One in Ede, the hometown of the governor. One in Ilefe, the cradle of Yoruba race. one in Ikirun, two in Osogbo, one in Lameko, and one in Atokefia.
National Vice Chairman of the People's Democratic Party commends the project, which he says is long overdue.
This road is so important because it connects two senatorial districts of Osun Central and Osun West. Having said that, I want to quickly point our attention to the issue of miscreants. Those touts that we believe is going to be business as usual by disturbing the workers, the engineers that will be working on this road, that there will be no room for such shenanigans.
The rehabilitated roads will open up the various agrarian communities, easing the transportation of farm produce to the state capital and other major towns within the state.
And that's it on Newsroom series today with our focus on the Southwest. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.